Hi guys, welcome back to Sendy's Cooking. Today I'm going to show you how to make sauce pois, but this one we're using red beans, and I'm going to show you the other way to make it the traditional way without using a pressure cooker, because last time I did use a pressure cooker, which still saved a lot of time. But let me show you how I made this delicious sauce pois with using red beans. So you'll need red beans. Like I said to you guys, I like to mix up my beans. I'm using red beans and red kidney beans. To boil this, you add water to a pot, add the beans. I have 2 cups of beans right here. Add 2 green onions, some garlic cloves. I like to add a lot, some olive oil, and let it come to a boil. It's gonna take a long time to boil, and you're gonna be needing to add water and more water. This is why pressure cooker saves you a lot of time, and it's easier to measure when you're using a pressure cooker because I added at first 4 cups of water, and after the water dries up, I add more water, which is not ready, and you check it and you add more water until it's actually ready, and it takes almost 2 hours for it to cook. And a trick some people use, I like to use as well, is to add a little bit of baking soda. It helps it cook faster, so be sure to do that. And you make sure you want your beans to cook all the way through very slow because you're gonna blend it, so this is why it takes almost 2 hours, if not 2 hours. Be sure to cook it on medium high heat. It helps it cook a little bit faster. That's why it's easier to use a pressure cooker. With a pressure cooker, I get it in 30 minutes. Once the beans are fully cooked well throughout, take some out, set some aside, about a cup. I like to have some bits of beans in my sauce pois. It doesn't really matter if you don't like it, it's fine. It's totally optional. It's not necessary, but that's what I like. So you can also just not put it. It's good be sure when you're cooking the beans you have some beans water remaining after once the beans is cooked. You don't want the beans to be all the way dried because you want the water, there's a lot of flavor in that beans water. Growing up in my country, we don't really cook with cold water. We like to have some water boiled to the side. So what I did is boiled some water, set it to the side. So I'm going to use that hot water to blend my beans, and the water that was from the beans still gonna stay there, so I don't have to add too much water to it. So I blended the beans with about 2 cups of hot water, and the water from the beans that remained was about 5 cups. So that was a good amount of water. Go ahead and blend it smoothly. Depends on what kind of blender you're using or the type of beans. You may need a strainer or you may not, right? So it really is up to you. Some people use a strainer, some people don't. But growing up, we don't use a strainer. We use I forgot what you call it, a mill. It's like a mill, so that's why it's always gonna be, it's important to use a strainer because we're using a mill. You know what I mean? But and if you're not using a really good blender, you're probably gonna use that. You need a strainer to get rid of the pulp, and depends on the beans you're using. Some beans skin are more thicker, I would say, than others. Like the white beans, I never need to use a strainer. Like black beans, I always use a strainer for some reason because there's always the pulp and you can see it and you have to get rid of it. Like the red beans, the same thing for the red beans, but white beans is not. I never have to strain it for white beans. But even so, with the red bean, it's not a lot of pulp though. So, but it really matters the type of bean you're using. Like if you're using dried pigeon peas, even if it's fresh pigeon peas, you're going to need a strainer because it has a lot. The skin is, I don't know, maybe tougher, and you just have to get rid of it because it does have a lot of pulp after you blend it. It doesn't all blend out smoothly. So go ahead and strain it, get rid of the pulp, and then when you have that pulp left, that little pulp, I normally do is take it, add it to a little bit of water, like I don't know, maybe half a cup of water or a quarter cup, and rinse it out and strain it again because you just want to get all of it out. But you don't have to do that. You just want to make sure you get all of it out so the sauce could be really nice, thick, and creamy. You say you still have some beans in it, so that's why we like rinse it out, or you can just pour the water over it and just get whatever in there out. And that's it. So once you strain it, you're gonna go ahead and season it, and the seasoning is pretty simple, similar to the previous recipe. You just need chicken bouillon, salt, fresh herbs like parsley, thyme, bay leaves, some olive oil, butter. And for this beans, I am using coconut milk, I'm sorry. I like coconut milk not in all beans. Like I like coconut milk in red beans and black beans personally. I've seen people do it in white beans. I don't like it. It's not my favorite. But when it comes to red beans, yes, add some cloves, chicken bouillon, butter, fresh parsley, fresh bay leaves. You can add the dry if you don't find the other one. And yeah, that's it. And then add the coconut milk, and then you let it come to a boil for 10 to 15 minutes on medium heat, and that's it. Be sure to add salt to taste. It's like one of the easiest Haitian dishes to make. It's simple, it's easy, but it takes a long time. When you don't have a pressure cooker, it will take you a very long time because dry beans take a long time. Oh, don't forget to add the remainder of the beans. Stir it out and then let it cook. It's really good to have a pressure cooker. I promise you that. It saves you a lot of time, because when I use the pressure cooker to make sauce pois, the beans are ready in 30 minutes, and to make rice and beans in 20 minutes, I got my beans ready. Add some black pepper too to give it some really good taste, and that's it. Very simple. I will list all the ingredients. The recipe will be on my website. Well, not exactly for this one, because I don't really have the measurements. I'm just showing you how to do it the traditional way. I can't really give you an amount of water that I use, because I did use a lot of water, and it really is different. So I will list the ingredients in the description box below, and you can just follow through how I did this and try to get it the same way. It's really hard when you're doing it the traditional way to measure out the water. But yeah, give it a try. You'll need, like I said, you will need a lot of water, because it takes almost 2 hours to cook the beans. You add water. The first time you add 4 cups, it dries up, the beans still not ready. You add another 5 cups, beans still not ready. You add more. So it does take a lot of water, and it takes some times. Yeah. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. And I really enjoy you guys watching my videos and reacting to them. It means a lot to me. Thank you for that. Also, I do have my written recipes on my website on sendyscookingrecipes.com, which is listed in my link. My link is listed in the description box below, where I share all my written recipes. It takes me a long time to make those videos and write those recipes down, and make sure I give you guys accurate measurements so you guys can make those dishes. It's a subscription website. I think it's $5.99 a month. I put out new recipes every week, at least one recipe. So be sure to subscribe for more. And it's also a way for me to support myself, because I don't get paid from really doing these videos, sharing these videos. On YouTube I monetize a little bit, but the others like Instagram and TikTok I don't. So it takes a lot of my time to make these, and doing that subscription website helps me support myself in ways to continue to do this. This is the recipe. Oh, one thing, you see how it doesn't look as thick? Growing up, my mom, what she used to do is to put some potatoes, was it potato starch? I believe it's potato starch. If you don't want it potato starch, you can actually use just plain flour. Just take a tablespoon of flour, add a tablespoon or two with water, and stir it out and pour it in there, and that will make it thicker. Or you can use potato starch. I think it's potato starch, some sort of starch. That will make it thicker. And as I mentioned before, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe. I have a lot more coming up. I have been keeping it consistent on YouTube, and yeah, this is my recipe. This is it. And I paired this with white rice and lalo. Oh my gosh, it was so good, you guys. Ugh, I loved it. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good day.